Hello. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Neva Cockrell, and I'm one of the programming directors at WildHeart, and I'm calling in from WildHeart in the Hudson Valley, New York.
Hey, I'm Melissa. I'm the marketing manager here at WildHeart, and I'm actually calling in from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay. And I am Nita Little, and I am a roaming teacher, contact improvisation, dancer, theorist, thinker. I work with what on earth contact can be. And I also am very interested in ensemble improvisation and contact moving into ensemble. And this interview gets to talk about all that stuff.
Yay. Well, yeah, Nita, we're just thrilled to get a chance to talk to you and share with some of you who are viewing it now. So for people who don't know, Nita's coming to WildHeart for about 2 weeks in April to offer 3 different programs, and we're thrilled about all of them. And I wonder, Nita, if you would just share a little bit about each program, and then we'll elaborate on each one.
Absolutely. So the 3 programs are related, of course, but they anchor into very different aspects of a field that I find is so complex and deep. And, I've been doing contact improvisation since it began. So that's like 50 some plus years. I'm not sure where it is now, maybe 53 years. We began in 1972. I was a student at Bennington College. And so I've been running at the front end of this thing, contact improvisation, never having been taught contact improvisation, but being someone who has been investigating what these ways of being together with other people, highly physical ways of being together with other people, move forward. Where's that forward leading edge? What are we working on? Where's the interest? What don't we know yet? What can we know? Who am I that I'm doing this kind of work with someone else? What does it mean when I am dancing deeply fast in this engagement with another human being that has so much information flying through both of us in one instant, and the excitement and the play and the creativity of those moments. And who's the audience for this thing? Am I my own audience to this incredible dance that's taking place? And if not, what else is here? So looking at this stuff, looking at the dance, and also what happens when there's more than just one partner? How does it end up being working towards ensembles? And once it's in the ensembles, what happens when it becomes this whole potential dance that now is in the realm of not only being a tactile dance form, which it is, but also having visual elements. And how do those things play together? So most dance that I was raised. I say raised because in fact, I knew I was a dancer when I was like 3 or 4 years old. So I'm one of those people. And so as I grew up, my excitement was in the doing of dance, but my creative excitement was in the seeing of dance. And dance, as was understood choreographically, and I became a contemporary dancer, a modern dancer, actually. And as that happened, dance was so highly visual, skillfully visual, and being troubled on that visual end, because of course I was in this moment when modern dance became postmodern dance, and contact is a postmodern dance form. I mean, it started pushing on that, and so working on this forward edge of understanding what it is we're doing as dancers, very exciting. I have lived in the most exciting moments. So I'm a very lucky person.
It's just amazing to, to talk with someone and get to learn from someone who really has been there at the forefront of dance and the forefront of these forms.
Yeah.
Yeah, so can you tell us a little bit about what you'll be teaching in the CI retreat?
Yeah. So in the CI retreat, we are focusing on contact improv. And since it's 5 days, I will move it. And since it's intermediate advanced dancers, I will move it towards ensemble. So we won't be only doing duet forms because we're looking at relations. The emphasis will be on relational intelligence in contact improvisation. During COVID, actually before COVID, I started teaching contact improvisation and relational intelligence within contact improvisation. That was one of my forward edges. And as we moved into COVID and everybody got stuck at home, I started teaching relational intelligence at home for individuals. So I really did a deep dive into what is it that's happening to me and how am I forming relations in everything that I am engaged with. And then going back into contact improvisation with this kind of new body of knowledge, new ways of understanding. From what, 2.5 years of teaching online and studying this work, I went back into contact improvisation with this new excitement and new language for describing what happens when we work together in contact improvisation. Deep inside that is an understanding and an exploration of what co-creation means. What does it mean to be to have a co-creative moment? And co-creation, I do believe, well, it's a word that, yeah, it's been usurped by industry, by corporate interests. And so corporate interests will speak of it very differently than I would speak of it. Co-creation requires an understanding of what our time practices are. In a regular dialogue, you say something, I say something. If we do our contact improvisation that way, as communication, now we've got a problem. But a lot of people do their contact that way. Somebody does something and then there's this response. So contact is understood to be a responsive practice. It's a problem. It's a problem because as a responsive practice, everybody's acting slow. Everybody's slow. The thinking is too slow. The knowing is too slow. People are waiting to know what to do next, how to respond. That's about how they are understanding experience in time. When you start to work co-creatively, you have to do, it's also a spatial practice. One has to understand that the other partner is oneself. So when you walk, your right leg is already engaged with the left leg in a direct, immediate practice. There is not a delay. What's the right leg doing? What's the left leg doing? And responding. There's no response. There's no response time. It's one action. When I dance with somebody as one action, everything changes.
Yeah.
When I live my life in co-creative moments, I am living as a larger being. I stop responding in the same way. I act more immediately. I'm already with you. So it's not that all of our contact is going to be able to function at that speed, because it's knowing is very fast. Your partner's ground is your ground. Your partner's earth is your earth. It is co-creation is a state of communion when it's done well. And that's what we want. So it's very, very exciting. And how much more intelligent can you be? So that takes us into the whole realm of what it is. Now, there's ways that the embodied states provide the possibility of co-creation. Other embodied states don't allow you to do co-creation. Most cultural bodies are not engaged as an embodiment means the mind is present as body. So, and there's many ways of being embodied. There's not just one embodiment. Everybody is embodied differently and uniquely. And everybody has different embodiments that they go through throughout any simple day or throughout their life. Some embodiments serve co-creation. A lot of embodiments don't. The culturally framed and formed body, the one we were taught in school, the one we were insisted upon living as this body, is not framed or formed to be co-creative. So a lot of our work in contact improvisation is understanding what our body mind is doing and what it is serving and what's possible. It's a body level training. We have to move to understand how to co-create. That's a mouthful.
That
Wow.
is exciting.
Yeah, I feel like the way you put it, it made me understand the intensity of kind of contact improv and where you could take it further. And I feel like this retreat would be great just for advanced like CI dancers. This is I would like to say that I'm very new when it comes to contact improvisation. So to
Right.
be able to like hearing it from your mouth, like one of the founders, is incredible.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
And
in my experience, it's a totally unique way of talking about it. I mean, I've
Yeah.
been dancing CI for 20
well,
years,
yeah,
never encountered someone presenting it this way, with this concept of presence and identification and co-creation and relational intelligence. Like, these are not words that are being thrown around at every workshop. It's like,
right.
and we're going to learn to lift with our pelvis. Great, nothing wrong with that, but it's a totally different thing.
Yeah, and those are the mechanics. And absolutely, we will, in every contact improvisation, the mechanics show up.
Right.
And but you want those mechanics to not be a separate investment from that which you are when you're dancing. If you are thinking solely mechanically, you are not present with your partner. You're going to be stuck in slow time, right? What I would call chunky time, because mechanics serve particular pathways or ideas about what's necessary rather than the immediacy of a present moment now and engagement now. And you want those mechanics to arise because of something else.
Mhm.
They're not serving a technical practice.
Right.
And yet I consider myself a technician. I am, because the first 30 years of my contact improvisation teaching, I was very, maybe 35 years, very focused on the technical. And I can detail technique. Trust me, I can detail technique in ways most people can't. Why? Because I've been doing it for so damn long, and because I have eyes and a physical form that touches into people. I don't just see the outside form. I'm inside. So touch is an amazing practice. It's an amazing way to live a touching life. Yeah. And it serves technique as well, actually. But that's another story.
Yeah, well, let's make a little jump now to hear about what is ISSC and what is that retreat gonna entail? Is it
Okay,
totally
thank you,
different?
Neva.
It's related.
Yeah. So at some point I thought, contact has taught me so much. And I must tell you, I've never been solely and only a contact dancer. I'm also have an improvisation practice, which has always moved together alongside and become one practice. So that one practice, the fact of moving with as a larger form and moving together, not with other people, but as other people, as this moving form, messing with the prepositions. At some point, I realized that I had learned so much from dancing, and very specifically from dancing that was emergent from contact improv, that I had to go back and get a PhD. I wanted to know what else other people knew, whether this information was totally separate from all the rest of the information flying around the world. So I did that. And during that development, when I started to realize that the mind is a body and started insisting on that language, the mind that is a body, the body that is a mind, that they're never separate. When I insisted on that, I started to realize there's things that are known that we know that dancers experience all the time, but have no language to speak about, no way to talk about. But these ways of knowing experience would serve the world so greatly. And that our relational practices are so different than what happens out there in the world that we really need to investigate what this can do and how we can live in better relations with our worlds. So I developed when I got out of that PhD, I was teaching in Florida, and I met an anthropologist who was a contact improv dancer, and we started talking about this, and together developed the Institute for the Study of Somatic Communication, or body-based communication. And the whole purpose of this, the ISSC, it's not so much a teaching institute as it is a research institute. It is to understand that dance itself is a research practice. In my mind, it's equivalent to a science. It does not work through scientific method. It is not interested in scientific method. What the Institute for the Study of Somatic Communication is interested in is knowing how how it is that these extraordinary moments can come about where dancers are moving together and this incredible forms of coordinated movement happen. These incredible agreements about what this moment is happen. These synchronous events. I have even danced and had someone else move my body without my body knowing it's happening. And so I know that we don't know nearly enough about what a body mind can do and what a human being can be. And we're in a world that wants to start to replace parts with digital capacities when we haven't even explored what this does. So the ISSC is working toward developing materials, information, methodologies, scores, practices that can serve society in all of its formations, in its workplaces, in its healing places, in its learning places. And having the language to do that. And my belief is in dancers. I think dancers are precious. I think they're brilliant. I think they have ways of knowing that if they understood what they were doing, they would go, aha. They would stop thinking they're at the bottom of society as merely creative vessels for somebody else's entertainment or maybe art awakening, which is, I think, is very important. I mean, I'm a creative person too. I like that too. I like performance too, but it's so much, it's only a small part of what dancers can do. And dancers have to get to know themselves and respect and understand how critical they are to a future that I want to live in. And I think that most dancers want to live in. So that's my deal with the ISSC. The ISSC, what I'm doing there is training dancers to understand research practices, giving them a perspective about what it is that how it is they can engage in practices to explore and investigate what somatic communication, how dancers do this thing that they do. Not the gestures, not the body shapes, because we're not asking people to dance in their schools. We're asking people to understand embodied states in their schools. We're asking dancers to train people to be able to engage in spaces as tactile beings, engage with one another, not touchy-feely, a whole other way of understanding what it is that dancers do. And we're not wanting other people to become dancers in their physicalities, I mean, in their shaping, in their gestures, but rather in their being, what it means to be a dancer.
It's so rich. I mean, the layers are really the layers of what's needed here feel so profound to me, of like, the world needs these things. Here's a category of people who have these skills. Those people don't even know they have these skills, so they can't offer it to the world because they have. So there's this circle of like,
Exactly,
of letting the benefits spread. And
so the thing about the ISSC is I started working with the ISSC in Europe mostly. So there are collaborators these dance ensembles are research bodies.
Mm.
So a collaboratory is a research body of dancers who are studying what this can be. They are members of the ISSC. And together they go through sessions of research sessions. So the training I'm doing is what happens in those sessions.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And what is possible. The kind of questioning that we interview we interview ourselves, we interview each other, we create scores, and we notice what those scores do towards somatic communication. Does this score lend greater somatic communication, or does it distract? Who am I when this is really working? So then going into those studies, to do that, you have to find dancers that you're really enjoying moving with.
Right.
And moving together a lot.
Yeah.
And we know how much fun that is. Yeah. It's joyful work. It's joyful work. Now, I know that Leanne Kowalski is going after grants to a grant to do a collab in the Hudson Valley too. And when she does that, she said, if she gets this grant, then dancers will be paid to be researchers. That's the dream. The dream. Let's start paying dancers to be researchers.
Yeah.
We're working towards that in Europe too, but it's an international organization. There's collaboratories starting in Australia. So we are a network. The ISSC is a network of dancers. It's not just Nita. It's a network of dancers that I'm provoking. I'm the provocateur, and they're doing the thing.
Well, it sounds amazing. It's like, I feel like if you're a dancer listening, I'm like, how could you not want to come to this? It's a unique offering, truly.
It's exciting. It's very exciting. People want to form collabs.
Yeah.
Many of the collabs are not getting paid at this point, but we're working toward a future in which we do get paid.
Mm-hmm.
We're working towards it. And the way we all create data. These collabs create data. The data, we're developing the back end of this, where the data goes into AI tools to to extract, to sieve through all this stuff that dancers say. And let me tell you, dancers start to realize what they're doing. The benefit for the dancers is they start going, oh, this is what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it happens. I'm lucky. How do I know about research? Because I've been doing it for 50 plus years with Contact Improv within myself. But now I've taken it and made it a formal practice. Right. Or I'm making it a formal practice. It sounds like it's a done deal. It's not a done deal. It's a moving, developing exploration in which I've developed a base, and we're growing from that base. What is research when it's a dancer doing it? Not interested in other people researching dancers at all. Interested in dancers researching dancers.
Great. Well,
I don't think other people know what questions to ask. They don't know how to be inside the dance to ask the questions.
Right. Well, shift us one more time so we have enough time to hear about the third element of your residency here, which is this performance, which is another aspect of your work. So tell us a little bit about what the performance is going to be and how you're creating it.
Yeah, so I'm creating a performance for the Hudson Valley all the way from here. I am north of Seattle right now. And And you know, and I'm traveling a lot. I tour a lot, so making performances is a little tricky. Um, I'm creating a performance for the Hudson Valley that is collaborative with other choreographers. So Neva, you're one of the collaborators, a choreographer in your own right, doing your own work. What I've done is I have created a form, a frame. Let's call it a frame. And this frame is organized around a lecture by another artist who is maybe we could call him a performance artist or an artist out of the UK living in Greece who is very interested in ways that things are understood as beings. So he wrote a text called Ways of Being, and it fascinated me. And I went looking for a lecture of his, and the lecture is about intelligence. Surprise, surprise. I like the way he spoke about intelligence. I like how he thinks about intelligence. And so I thought the frame is going to be his lecture on intelligence, which we're extracting parts of. It's a beautiful lecture. It was so many gorgeous examples of what a being is, of how we understand, really upsets one's general notion of what it is, what an intelligent being is. And of course, in this last 20 years, suddenly the world is understanding that it's not just human beings that are intelligent, right? I mean, trees are intelligent, plants are intelligent, they're all beings. And understanding intelligence from a completely different window, so that intelligence is not limited in its form, including these forms of intelligence that we're constructing, like AI. The fact that humans tend to want all intelligence to show up as human or in human ways and with human potentials is a problem, because intelligence takes many, many, many different forms and shapes. So that gets exciting. Anyway, so there's this intellectual thread that leads through it, and playing with that intellectual thread, I'm interested in trance states, and the fact that when we go into states of trance or states of meditation, I want to mess with it. We get to know things we don't otherwise know. We get inside and experience things that we maybe otherwise won't experience. So, because we move so fast, because we come with these cultural bodies. So, in order to mess with the cultural body, I'm working with dancers and all the dancers. These choreographers have dancers. I'm asking each choreographer to influence their dancers with trance states. I provide the trance states. The trance states are about embodiment. So the dancers will be dancing with having been exposed to certain kinds of trance states. And the choreographers will be working with that as well. And I'm going to try and influence the audience by creating situations in which they're doing more than one thing at a time. They can't be a passive audience. They have to be an engaged audience because of what we're asking for, because there's stuff happening here. There's something to listen to. There's something that to see, and maybe there's something that they're also engaged in doing. When that happens, when you are try and do more than one thing at a time, you go into trance in order to accomplish it all. Which is to say, dance already automatically is a kind of trance.
Mm-hmm.
Because dancers are always asking themselves to do more, to be present to more. So this is a piece that will take place, hopefully, if weather agrees, will take place inside, take place outside the space at WildHeart. It'll be fun. It's about a half hour long. Hopefully it's a lot of fun. It'll be a juxtaposition of these various visual choreographers. I'm thinking of choreographers as creating beings, being types, you know, they're not the same. We're not looking at the same choreographic emergence from any one of these choreographers. I am very engaged in emergent practices. So I'm looking to create situations in which what I don't know yet will emerge. What we don't know yet will emerge. It's going to be casual on some level. It'll be formal in other levels. Did I say enough?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a playground. I'm
Yeah.
hoping to create a creative playground.
Yeah.
Not asking the audience to do creative practices. Whatever the audience does, they will be given instructions they can follow or not. They are free to do as they please, except I'm hoping that they are not a passive audience.
No, we'll get it bumping at WildHeart. It will be a good time.
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Nita. It's just such an honor to talk to you always and to hear about, I mean, the vastness of your knowledge and your skill sets and your research and the way it's manifesting in this little 3-section thing, and each one is so deep. So I just encourage, if you're listening to this, I encourage you to come to all of them. You could experience one of these. How cool
Yes.
would that be?
Or dip
Come
your
out.
feet in to something.
Yeah.
Right? Just dip your feet in to taste another kind of possibility. I feel so honored to work with these choreographers from the Hudson Valley. So it's not just me. You've been working with Neva. You'll be working with Clyde Forth. You'll be working with Leanne Kowalski. I mean, seeing Leanne Kowalski. I say working with as an audience member, you'll be, I'm working with these guys, you'll be engaged with them. So you'll be engaged with Neva and Leanne and Clyde. And I think there's even a fourth choreographer that is maybe coming out and joining us. So it's fun.
Fun. All right.
As a recap, make sure to come on out to WildHeart, to Somatic Communication, Relational Intelligence, and Contact Improvisation. That is the first retreat. That will be April 16th to the 20th. We also have the research training in somatic communication within ensemble practices. That will be April 21st to the 24th. And we also have One Is Not Enough performance with Nita Little and Hudson Valley performers, choreographers, engagement, April 27th at 2 p.m.
Yay! 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 So excited.